we've talked a bit about academia. Um, I'm an academic at this point. I'm getting a PhD here at Stanford, and we've talked about law. I'm starting law school here in a couple of weeks too, and once upon a time, I toyed with the idea of going to med school and being a psychiatrist, and, that's still I mean, there are still pathways to becoming one,
Mhm.
and all of these things appear like they can be displaced by AI.
Mhm.
So, could we just to satisfy my curiosity, I'm curious what your thoughts are about how academia will change
Huh.
in the years to come because of AI.
Well, the short answer is massively, although I think academics is a very, part of its being a, you know, uh, university professors being a centuries long institutions. It's one of the oldest things that exist, and along with cities and religions and whatnot, they tend to be very resistant to change. And part of it tend to be like, no, we're going to keep doing the things we're doing now.
And please be brutal. I've kind of come to the conclusion that this is not a viable career pathway anymore.
Yeah. Well, it's not viable the way it is right now. It'll change massively. Um, the uh, I think the old industrial paths of for example, the way that we teach is we hand out some books, people come to lectures, they submit written essays and they do written exams. I think that's all uh, not long for this path. I don't know if it's small n years or very resistant institutions longer. But, obviously the ability for AI to do very intense one-on-one education is is extremely important. The ability for AI to do one-on-one assessment is extremely, extremely good. Obviously it can do, AI can actually even lead seminars and all the rest. So I think that this will all be transformed, and also obviously, to whatever degree the savant super intelligence evolves, helping research is there too. And so all of this stuff really changes, kind of academics. Now that being said, um, I could easily see a universe where you say, look, all individual um, learning, teaching, and assessment is done by AI, but there's still a bunch of role for human beings in doing stuff. It's like facilitating seminars, seeing if the target of, like what kinds of things should we be assessing for? How should the assessment be driven? Are people engaging the right way in the learning and teaching process? What are the ways that we might prompt different options with AI for making that happen? I think there's a variety of things. I think doing research and thinking about, philosophical thoughts, for example, is still a viable thing, even in quite advanced, kind of savant, super intelligent circumstances. But I think the notion of, like the 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 way that we've had universities be, uh, this kind of multi-century bulwark, I think AI is the most amazing learning and idea development technology we've created in history, and that's going to completely transform how they work.
I wonder if rather than speaking about philosophy professors, speaking about mathematics professors might be easier in a certain way because whether or not it really is feasible, it's I don't know, maybe easier to imagine AI solving extant mathematical problems than it is to think of them solving all philosophical problems. And in a future where AI is just so much better than Terry Tao and any other great mathematicians, is there a role for math professors doing research at universities in the same way that they're doing today?
Well, I mean, there's this interesting question. It depends a little bit on what the savant stuff does. I mean, there could very well be just like, and look, in one simple form, we have more people watching chess tournaments than we've had in history, and yet computers are the best chess players. So there could be roles even, for math research and everything else, even if computers are the best math researchers. So it's, there's there's a many different ways the world could be. That being said, while there has been some good, um, kind of, um, uh, work from Google and from others about like, doing math research and math Olympiads and so forth, we're still a fair ways off from these AIs actually, in fact, anywhere substantively really pushing these kind of research barriers, and not just with math. I mean, I think, for example, if you go use ChatGPT-5, deep research, you get some really amazing results, but it's still not the same thing as the thing that a highly qualified human being doing real work, can get to. Now, it can accelerate that human being a great deal. So again, it depends on where these super savants, get to and how broadly they get. And it's very possible that there's a number of different domains, one of which might be math, or some areas of physics or other things. But there's a sorry about that. Um, the There's a number of areas where, kind of this um these kind of areas might actually, in fact, have a fairly long participation of human beings. Like one is by themselves, but the other is of I actually think person plus machine will actually have a much longer lifespan than people who gesture at the chest analogy will have. I mean, there was this funny brief period where there was like, okay, humans better, computers better, humans plus computers better, and that was a brief human plus computers. But one of the things about chess is a kind of a rare, very specified environment. It has zero epistemological uncertainty. Everybody knows the same board. It is a very determinist fitness function and a very limited environment to be operating in, even though there's a lot of configurations and movements. And I think life is different, and I think that will give a much broader range for the person plus machine being a higher competence fitness function than just the machine.